I'm sorry?
Oh, I was talking to Cindy about
All right, today we're talking about mixtures. Today's main focus is the fact that on different ways to separate mixtures. Today's main focus is the different ways to separate mixtures, and so we are going to look at the different features. Monday's focus is going to be different types of mixtures. So that's kind of where we're at. Today we're looking at the properties of mixture. A mixture is a combination of substances that are not chemically combined. Each thing in the mixture keeps its identity. Sometimes you can see the pieces, sometimes you can't. They're kind of like Mounds bars and Almond Joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can see the pieces in a mixture, sometimes you can't. All right? Think about right here, I've got some apricot scrub. This is a little face scrub here. And when you look at the scrub, if you look at it really closely, can't quite tell. No focus. Oh well. If you look at it really closely, you can see that there are little bits of apricot shell in the scrub. Take it and pass it around. So sometimes you can actually see the pieces. Here's a nice big piece of granite. And you can actually see the different colors of things in the granite. There's quartz, there's feldspar, there's basalt, and there's mica in that granite. And if you look at it, the pieces are big enough you can actually see the different types of rock that have all blended together. Now most of your granite countertops, the pieces are smaller than they are in that sample, but the ingredients are all there. Now here, I said sometimes you can see the pieces and sometimes you can't. This is Diet Sierra Mist. Can you see the individual pieces in Diet Sierra Mist? No, it looks like a clear liquid, but it has stuff in it. It's got carbonated water, citric acid, natural flavor, potassium citrate, aspartame, potassium benzoate, sulfamy potassium, ascorbic acid, calcium disodium EDTA. All that stuff is in this container, but you can't see any of it. Alright? So when it comes to mixtures, sometimes you can see the pieces, sometimes you can't. Alright? This is a little watch glass. I just cleaned it off, so it's a nice clean watch glass. I'm going to put it here on this hot plate. This is salt water.
What was the first thing you put on?
It's called a watch glass. It's basically just a piece of glass. Alright, and this is salt water. I'm going to pour some of the salt water onto the watch glass. I'm going to come back to this demo later. This takes a little while to run, so I just wanted to let you know what I was doing. Okay? Alright. Alright, so here, salt water is another one of those mixtures that you can't see all the bits in. Once you put the salt in the water and give it a good stir, you can't see the salt anymore. Okay. Mixtures can be physically separated. The ways that you can pick apart a mixture, you can, first of all, just pick it apart. If you've got different colors of pot beads, you've got yellow pot beads, and you've got green pot beads, you can separate this mixture simply by picking it apart by color. I know people that like to pick their M&Ms apart by color before they eat them. Or their Skittles. I definitely know people that pick apart their Starburst by color because they only like the yellow ones. Does that make sense? So if the pieces are big enough, all you need to do is just pick it apart. Okay? Now if the pieces are smaller, say you've got a sample of sand. Ooh, too much sand. A sample of sand and a sample of sand and water. How do you separate that?
Star.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a colander or something.
A what?
Wait, no, never mind.
A colander would work if the holes were smaller and the holes were smaller or the sand was bigger. So instead of a colander, we use something that still sorts by size, but it sorts for smaller size. It's called filter paper. Okay? Filter paper is a way to sort particles by size. So you can use filter paper. Sometimes you can use other ways to sort by size are screening. Like if you run something through a screen, the big particles stay on one side of the screen and the small particles fall through. So filters work by sorting things by size. Water is the smallest size particle. Well, almost the smallest because it's a compound. So the pieces of water are really small. So they can slip through between the pieces of paper and the filter. Sand, however, has bigger pieces of stuff. Let's give it a good swirl. Sand has bigger pieces, so the sand gets caught in the filter. Also, you can pour some of it just off the top. Does that make sense? Okay. Another way is distillation. Distillation is on this slide, but distillation I'm not ready to talk about yet because that demo takes a little while to run. So instead of talking about distillation, I'm going to jump to magnet. You can sort out metals that are magnetized. This, way over here, is total cereal. It has 100% of the iron that you need to eat every day. This is not hot. What it is it's a magnet that spins around inside of it. It's been spinning now for about an hour. I cleaned the magnet off. Before I put it in here, the magnet was perfectly clean. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. All right. Move this to here. That'll do, hopefully. All right. Best one all day, by far. See those little spiky things? Do they show up in this over here? Nope, too high. Can you like aim that?
Yeah.
Hold it where it can be seen. Alright. So this magnet was perfectly clean before I had it sitting there spinning in the breakfast cereal. Out of the breakfast cereal is this stuff? What is this? This doesn't look like breakfast cereal.
Ew.
What is it? It's sticking to the magnet. What sticks to magnet? Iron. This is iron that they've added to the breakfast cereal to get your breakfast cereal minerals. This is the same kind of iron that you would have. Focus. This is the same kind of iron that would be in a cast iron frying pan. They spray it on your breakfast cereal. And you can get it out of your breakfast cereal by a magnet. Because it's not chemically bonded to anything in the breakfast cereal. It's just little bits of iron in your breakfast cereal. I just think that's awesome. Yeah.
I did a science project on this in first grade.
Oh yeah?
And I'd use magnets and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, this is a cool one. Yeah.
Do you just put magnets over the cereal and you can get that stuff?
You have to, the cereal needs to be wet. And this has been stirring, this magnet's been stirring in the cereal for about an hour. So it takes a little bit of time. But isn't that cool? I just think that's cool.
It's cool.
I just think that's just the neatest thing. It's a little bit gross, but it's still, you know.
It's like we're eating metal.
Yeah, you are. You are indeed eating metal. Just a little bit, tiny bit of it. All right. Now you gotta set this up for the next class.
It's not like we're eating. I can't touch you.
Someone yells like
it's
really loud.
Oh, I did hit him
There we go. Get the little magnet to do spin.
It's not working.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yay. Where do you want the camera pointed?
Would you put it back on the donation box? Pointed back this direction?
Yeah.
I should do. We'll let the cornflakes spin.
So gross. I hope you're not going to eat that cereal at your house.
Oh gosh, I hate that cereal. The only reason I got that cereal was because it was 100% of your daily needs of iron. And so I figured at that rate that I'd be able to actually get that experiment to work. I was like, because you know, even though I had that, that'll do. It's not great, but it'll do. All right. So even though it was 100% of your daily needs, you know, it only had like that much iron. You know, there was not a ton of iron there.
I'm going to get a cereal with iron for you.
I bet you can't find a cereal that is iron-free.
Yes, you can.
So that is one of the things that you can do to separate a mixture. You can use the property of the mixtures, one of those properties being iron is magnetic. Now, can you use a magnet to get out things that have non-magnetic properties? No. And it really, you know, you have to use the properties. Here, is my face scrub with the bits of apricot in it. Y'all take a look at this. Okay.
Is that a mixture?
It is. Can you actually see the pieces? If you can see pieces, it's a mixture. Can you see? You can't see pieces in all mixtures, but there's no way you're going to see pieces of a compound. Okay? Your eyes see a certain size. If the pieces are too small for you to see, then it's all going to look like one thing, even if there's more than one thing there. Okay? But if you can